this case.
So? I thought I didn't have to testify.
A new judge has been assigned, and you may be required to testify if I determine that you're capable.
Capable of what?
Of telling the truth. Now sit down.
This is so lame. Where's Victor?
He's in court. The trial's begun.
It's just an accident.
Your name is Joshua Walker. You're 14 years old. Is this correct?
You can ask me stupid questions like that all day.
I will take that as a yes, ma'am. You've lived with your aunt and uncle in Oak Lawn since your parents divorced.
So?
This hasn't been an easy time for you.
It doesn't matter.
It does, Josh. Everything that has contributed to you being here matters. Because as I look over your file, the young man described in it seems to have gone through an awful lot of changes in a very short period of time. Do you want to talk about it?
There's nothing to talk about. I haven't changed.
I see.
Nice cat. What's a loser like you doing with it?
Give it back, Willie.
Ooh, give it back, Willie. I'm thinking no. And I'm also thinking I can use a new bike to go with my new hat. Wow. Calling the cops. Uh-oh. Count that happen, can't we, guys? Okay, so you can keep your stupid bike, but the hat is mine. Oh, let's get out of here.
Hey, Vic! We're home. Vic! Come down here and help your cousin with his stuff. I'll go get him.
We're glad you're here, sweetheart. You know, your parents didn't send you here because of anything you did. They love you, and they just need some time to work out their own problems. Let me see that eye. Oh, I need to put some more ice on it. All over a baseball cap.
They do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, guys like that are a fact of life, Josh. You know? There's nothing you can do about it.
I hate him.
You're really pushing your luck with this stuff, kid, I'm telling you. The next time you ignore me, I lock you in the attic till you're 18. So, will you, show your cousin to the room?
Come on.
Just about had it with that kid.
Relax. He's 16. It's a phase.
And when do the good phases start?
Well, maybe Josh will have a good influence on Victor.
Yeah. Maybe.
Which bed should I take?
1,000 points.
What's that?
It's Carjack 2000. It's so sweet.
$2,000 points.
Wait! Stop!
3,000 points.
Victor was addicted to video games, and it didn't take him long to get his younger cousin Joshua hooked on it too. The evidence is going to show that these boys played a game called Carjack 2000, Millennium Mayhem, sometimes for days at a time. Now, the thing with this game is that it calls on you to commit crimes in the name of a cyber gang called the Brotherhood. You get points for doing bad things. Okay, these are virtual crimes. They're not real crimes. But as these boys got drawn deeper into this world, all the lines got blurred.
So, tell me about Carjack 2000.
What do you want to know?
Everything. You and your cousin used to play it all the time. The police found a list of cheats for Carjack 2000 in the car. It must be a very interesting game.
Oh, it's totally cool. First thing you gotta do is steal the car. I got him. Right, watch out, man. He's got a gun. No. Don't worry, I got my nutshots.
All right, get him, dude.
Broken neck, 5,000 points.
Yeah!
Welcome to the Brotherhood. Collect a new weapon.
All right, sights locked. Ready to rock. Step on the gas. All right, let's grab some cash.
Streets come ahead. Streets come ahead.
Hey, guys.
What the hell?
Why are you so jumpy?
You just surprised us, that's all. Just playing the game.
Okay.
Playing the game.
Well, it's dinner time, so turn it off and come on down.
All right, we'll be down in a second. Okay. I gotta save it.
Your master congratulates you for setting a new standard for death and destruction. Remember the sacred code. Never betray your brothers or divulge the secrets of the streets, and you will enjoy everlasting protection of the Brotherhood.
One time I made it all the way to level 10. You have to know all the tricks to get that far.
Oh, what are the tricks?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
Because I'd be breaking the code of conduct.
The evidence that you will hear in this case will prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Victor Jackson was no longer satisfied with killing people on TV. He decided that he was going to experience the ultimate thrill. He was going to take the game to the streets. And on December 17th, he aimed his car at Marissa Atkins, and he stepped on the gas. Why? Because in Carjack 2000, killing a prostitute gets you 20,000 bonus points.
You may proceed with your opening statements, Counselor.
Thank you. The prosecution has painted a compelling picture for you today. Youth gone wrong, inspired by a game in which you are rewarded for violent behavior. That is it's a pretty easy target to point to. But is it true? What about the movies? What about television? What about rap music? What about the nightly news? Because violence and crime are everywhere. Victor started playing this game about a year ago. So what happened on December 17th that caused this alleged radical change in a young man who had never before shown criminal behavior? There was no malice. There was no forethought. And there was no criminal intent.
Your grades began to fall about 7 months ago. Why is that?
Stupid teachers.
Well, it says here that you weren't turning in your assignments and you'd become surly and uncooperative in class.
I don't know what surly is.
It means rude. You'd been an A student up until then, Josh. Polite and attentive is how your teachers describe you. They think that because you were angry with your parents, that's why you were acting out. What do you think? Okay, well, perhaps we'll come back to that. Let's talk about what happened the day that Victor ran into Marissa Atkins. Were you and Victor acting out a part in Carjack 2000?
No. And people always try to blame video games and stuff for bad things that happen. Like those Columbine guys. Everyone thinks they whacked out because they played video games. But I think they must have been kind of whacked out already.
So you don't believe the game had any influence on what you and your cousin were doing?
No.
Man, don't be such a wuss, all right? I got my license. I mean, it's all under control, trust me.
Yeah, I know, but your mom's gonna be totally PO'd that we took the car.
Well, it's a family car, isn't it?
Yeah?
And we're family, okay? So, relax. Put the seat in.
Some fun, picking off humans. Yeah, alright. Picking off humans. That's right. I never knew it could end this way. Whoever pulls the trigger is a king for a day. So I may not make it out alive. I'll make the headline as I die. You know I saw it in a Hollywood film where a gun gives you a license to kill. My heart is racing, shooting up adrenaline. I'm going in, let the game begin.
No, you don't think she's...
Oh, yeah. That's a hooker for sure.
Statement that the boys gave to the policeman tells the story. He was an inexperienced driver on a rain-slicked street. So why did they leave the scene? Because they were scared. They panicked. He was driving too fast. He was not paying close enough attention, but he did not get behind the wheel of the car that day with the intention of murdering a defenseless pedestrian.
We will hear the prosecution's case tomorrow morning. We're adjourned until 9 a.m.
All rise.
One more question, and the police officer will take you to your aunt and uncle.
What?
How do you feel about what happened to Miss Atkins?
What do you mean?
Do you feel badly that this young woman was hurt?
No. I mean, why should I? She wasn't a woman. She was just street scum.
Street scum?
That's what he said.
It makes me crazy to hear someone, especially a kid, refer to another human being as street scum.
When you reduce a person to a type, you make them seem less than human, and then you don't have to deal with their suffering. I believe that's what Josh is doing.
Well, Miss Wings, you better open that child's eyes before he loses something more than his humanity.
You still think they weren't recreating that game out there?
Even if they were, it doesn't mean that what happened to Marissa wasn't an accident, and Victor deserves a fair trial.
That's right. We're here to present, not to judge. Don't forget that.
Street scum ahead. 3,000 points.
Yeah, drop scum.
Look where you're going. 3,000 points.
How was your evening?
Look, how much longer do I have to sit here?
Till they're ready for you in the courtroom. There's something I would like you to take a look at.
Who's this?
Marissa Atkins, first grade. Here she is in 8th grade.
Okay.
This was a party her friends threw for her 15th birthday. Later that day, her father got drunk and beat her up so badly that she ran away and never went home again. She wasn't much older than you are now. This is her in science club.
She was in science club?
Yeah, she wanted to be an oceanographer when she grew up. You're in science club, aren't you? Josh, do you know why I'm showing you these pictures?
The car was registered to Deborah Jackson, the defendant's mother.
And you inspected the vehicle after the incident. Did you find anything mechanically wrong with it?
No, the power steering and the power brakes were functioning properly.
So then, based on your investigation, could you estimate when the defendant tried to hit his brakes to avoid striking the victim?
There were no skid marks. No indication that he made any attempt to stop.
Nothing further. Your witness.
Officer, is it possible that because of the slick streets, the defendant tried to stop, but instead hydroplaned, leaving no skid marks?
Yes, sir. It's possible.
Thank you. Nothing further.
You're excused, Officer Bassett.
Video games aren't child's play anymore. They're a $6.5 to $10 billion industry, depending on whose statistics you read. Over 225 million games were sold just last year.
Not child's play? Could you explain what you mean by that?
I mean that the majority of games manufactured are not intended for kids. Most of them reward some sort of violence. The more violent the behavior, the greater the reward. The industry rates them anywhere from E for everyone to M for mature or adult.
Does your research indicate that children do play games rated for adults?
Yes, all the time.
Bailiff. Thank you. Professor Milgram, are you familiar with this game?
It's called Carjack 2000 Millennium Mayhem. It's very popular right now.
And could you please explain to us how points are scored?
No, objection, Your Honor. The prosecution has yet to show any relevant connection between the game and the charges against my client.
Your Honor, the jury needs to fully understand this game in order to understand the connection.
I will allow it.
Professor Milgram?
Stealing a car is anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 points, depending on the model and the year. But if you kill the driver, your point total doubles. Breaking through a police roadblock is 3,000 points, but you get 3,000 bonus points for every officer and patrol car that you take out.
Streets come ahead.
Killing a prostitute is a 20,000 point bonus.
20,000.
In the game, they're called street scum.
How long have you been a child psychologist, Dr. Warren?
24 years.
And you've studied the effects of violent images on children for...
The past 10 years.
Bailiff? Doctor, could you tell us what we're looking at here?
This is a cross-section of 8 composite brains taken from a study conducted at the University of Texas Health Sciences Center at San Antonio and published by John P. Murray at Kansas State University. As you can tell by looking here at the posterior cingulate and here at the amygdala, there is heightened neurological activity in the children who were exposed to violent images.
Could you put that into layman's terms for us, Doctor?
It means that playing violent video games and watching violent movies or TV shows activate areas in the brain involved in arousal. This repeated exposure to media violence increases aggression and violent behavior. And violent video games are by far the worst.
Really? Why is that?
Because unlike simply watching movies and TV shows, video games are interactive. That's how children learn. It's also the nature of video games to be repeated over and over. This repetition of aggressive response reinforces that kind of behavior. These games teach them that there are a lot of bad people out there waiting to hurt them, and then trains them to retaliate aggressively. This is particularly troublesome in young people since they are still writing their behavioral script, if you will. The games encourage them to solve their problems through violence, rather than teaching a peaceful conflict resolution.
So, in your opinion, Doctor, what happens to children who are exposed to significant media violence?
Well, over time, their view of the world is distorted. They become desensitized to the pain they inflict.
Do you mean to say that they don't know the difference between right and wrong?
No, they just don't care.
Thank you, Doctor. Nothing further. Your witness.
Dr. Warren, it says here, some researchers believe that playing these games can be a cathartic experience for some children.
Yes.
So for those kids, the violence is it's an outlet for their aggression, isn't it? Sort of like hitting a punching bag.
Well, hitting a punching bag is not the same experience as shooting a realistic-looking character in a game.
Let's say that you have a child who really likes playing violent video games and he plays them for hours on end and days at a time. Is that child likely to walk down the street and assault somebody?
No.
Thank you.
Redirect, Your Honor. Doctor, do you think it's possible that an individual who's playing these games for an extended period of time became so consumed by it that they are actually more likely to commit a violent act, like running over a pedestrian?
Objection. That calls for a conclusion that is not supported by the evidence presented.
I'll allow the doctor to respond, but I remind the jury, this is his opinion, not a definite fact.
In my opinion, the answer is yes. But those studies are inconclusive to this point.
Is Carjack 2000 clearly marked as being only intended for those over the age of 17?
Objection, Your Honor. That is not relevant to the content of the redirect.
I'm sorry, but the defense says if a child plays a video game, what I'm trying to establish is whether it's clear or not that this game is not appropriate for someone under the age of 17.
You may answer the question.
Yes, the game is clearly marked.
Prosecution rests.
You're excused, Doctor. Court will resume tomorrow morning.
All rise.
What would you say to Marissa Atkins if you could speak to her?
Do you think she's ever gonna wake up?
I don't know. Does it make a difference to you?
Yeah. Kinda.
How?
Because she might not know who I am.
Whether she knows who you are or not shouldn't change the truth about how you feel. And it shouldn't change what you say in that stand tomorrow.
Yeah. I know I'm supposed to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? I watch TV.
All right, so Mrs. Jackson, you reported your car stolen from your driveway right before the accident.
Yes, but I was mistaken.
You were mistaken.
Yes, I didn't know that my son's driver's license had come in the mail earlier that day. And I had promised him that when he got it, we would share my car.
He didn't steal your car like it was a game. He took it without your permission, but with your implied consent.
Yes. You know how kids are. They take everything you say literally.
Your witness.
Mrs. Jackson, were you aware that your son was in possession of an adult-rated game like Carjack 2000?
Yes, I bought it for him.
Did you know that it was an adult-rated game?
Yes, that's what the clerk at the store told me, but honestly, I mean, don't they see worse on the news every night? Besides, it was his 16th birthday, and he wanted it so much. What could I say?
No more questions.
You can take your seat, Mrs. Jackson.
The defense calls Joshua Walker.
Raise your right hand. You, Joshua Walker, swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Joshua? Why don't you tell me what happened in the car just before the accident?
Well, we were driving around listening to music, and Victor made a turn and hit the gas.
And then what happened?
We drove for about a half a block, and this woman just stepped off the curb right in front of the car. Victor tried to stop, and he didn't have time, and we hit her. He couldn't help it. I know we should have stopped and seen if she was okay and everything, but we were just so scared. So we just drove straight home.
Thank you, Josh.
Is there something wrong here? Counsel, will you approach the bench, please? Let the record show the victim, Marissa Atkins, has recovered sufficiently to be present for this testimony. There will be a 15-minute recess.
What'd she say?
She's expected to make a full recovery.
No, about the accident. What'd she say?
She didn't talk about the accident.
What?
She doesn't remember what happened that day.
Nothing?
No. You seem relieved.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm glad she's gonna be okay.
Are you telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah. And so help me God.
That oath shouldn't be taken lightly, and neither should God. You lied on the stand today, Josh. You're lying again now.
No, I'm not. So how'd you know anyway?
I know because God told me. I'm an angel.
You know what? You're whacked. I don't have to listen to this.
I am an angel, and God sent me here with a message for you.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So God, he saw everything.
Yes.
So you came here to take me to hell?
No. He sent me here to tell you how much he loves you. God knows that you're hurting, Josh. He knows how lonely you are, how scary it is to watch your family falling apart. But God is a father who will never leave you. He hurts when he sees the hole that your parents have left in your heart. And he cries when he sees you trying to fill it with terrible things.
Like Carjack 2000?
Like anything that encourages you to hate instead of love. to kill instead of heal, to play games with your feelings instead of facing them.
So I'm not supposed to play video games anymore?
You can learn wonderful things from some video games, but violence isn't one of them. They will never heal your heartache or take away your anger. And they'll never bring you peace. I know how hard it is to figure out what peace is when you're only 14. But it's when there's no pain in your heart. When you don't feel afraid. When you know that you're safe and loved and cared for, and God wants you to feel all those things. Marissa didn't feel safe or loved or cared for, and she made a very wrong choice. Instead of asking God for help, she gave up her dreams, her hopes, and eventually she gave up herself. Josh, please, don't make the same mistake.
I lied, Monica. About what happened in the car.
I know, but there's still time to make it right.
How?
You go back in there and you tell the truth. Yes, there will be consequences to pay, but it's the right thing to do. And if you ask God for help, then you'll know just what to say.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
I know. I know you are. But you're not alone.
I understand you want to make some changes in your testimony.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I like the changes I'm hearing already. Go ahead.
Like I said, we were driving around the corner and Victor noticed this woman. Hey. What? Look.
Come on, baby. Why don't you show us what you got?
No, you don't think she's...
Oh, yeah. Look, man, that's 20,000 points right there. You know the score.
Yeah, I do, but let's go home and play the game.
You know, I'm sick and tired of playing this on TV. Let's play it right here. Right now. Sight's locked. Ready to rock!
Hit the gas!
Die, streets don't die! Die, streets don't die!
I said it. I said it, but I didn't really mean it. It didn't feel real. But it was real. I'm sorry. I'm really...
I'm surrounded by imbeciles.
Any more observations, little angel? Tell us what this theater means to you, Naomi.
Camera, is there enough fill light?
Plenty.
Well, my first role here at the Egyptian was Sleeping Beauty. That's back when we were doing children's theater, before the neighborhood went bad, before the children went bad. Tragic, really. Anyway, now I specialize in playing strong women. Medea in Medea, Joan of Arc in Joan of Arc, Lysistrata in Lysistrata. My husband Alan says that's the only thing I can do. And of course he's right. He always is. But even back in the beginning, I managed to find the complexity and emotional center of every character I played. No one will soon forget my little Red Riding Hood.
Well, that tells us what you mean to the theater, Naomi. What does the theater mean to you?
Well, is there really any difference, dear?
Dostoevsky said, "There's nothing more human than the urge to confess." That's been my credo. I see the stage as a confessional, a chance to break through mendacity, as Tennessee himself might have said.
Tennessee Williams?
In all humility, the demands of my time would tear apart a lesser man. Financial responsibility, social obligations. Taxidermy is a jealous mistress. But that is why I put this theater first. Because ultimately, it's about fellowship. A band of brothers. Which is why it is essential that we include that number from Pippin.
What's a Pippin?
I'll tell you later.
Cut! I felt very good. Excellent. I'm sorry, did I overstep my boundaries?
Latrina. That's a very unusual name.
My mama thought it was a Roman goddess. I'm like, whatever. At least people will never forget my name.
So you're the newest member of the company.
Yeah, so it's up to me to, shake things up a bit. Like last year when I played Juliet, I gave her the sexy kind of Christina Aguilera slinky thing. Romeo. Oh, Romeo. Didn't I... Anyway, I can't remember the rest, but it brought something really fresh to a tired old love scene.
That must have been very enlightening.
Well, I did have 12 years of training at Miss Harriet Grubb's dancing school in East St. Louis. Do you know the place?
I can't say that I do, baby.
Oh, well, it's gone now. Miss Grubb was arrested for running a meth lab in her basement. I guess I was the last star she ever launched. Isn't that sad?
Oh, for so many reasons.
You see, any dentist can fill a cavity. But I'm not just any dentist. I like to think of myself as Dr. Fun. You come in my office and you can get a filling, you can get a song, you can get a dance, you can get a couple of jokes. Now, you may not believe this, but until I was in junior high, I was boring. Snooze City. And then, one day, I found my gift. The fickle finger of fate pointed at me, and zingo! Baritone! It just happened. So I opened my mouth and... Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Roll away, you might...
Cut. Just cut. Cut.
It's very nice. Hi, Wally. Do you have a minute for an interview?
Oh, hey, you don't want to talk to me. I'm strictly backstage.
I don't know about that. You seem to be a pretty essential part of this place.
Me? Essential? Oh, no. Now, all I do is I build the sets and I run the lights. I open the box office and sell concessions. And I order supplies. I clean the dressing rooms and answer the phones. But it's general stagehand stuff. Anybody could do it.
Well, Ben relies upon you pretty heavily.
I'd do anything for Ben. He's been more of a father to me than my old man ever was. I have to clean this up, you punk! Why do you keep doing this?
That is it. I've had it. Something has to be done about those kids.
We could hire a security guard.
Security guards cost money, Wally. Come on.
So does repainting.
I want them gone. You understand? Whatever it takes, I want those kids gone.
I'll see what I can do.
It wasn't easy 50 years ago either.
Oh, hi, Tess. I didn't hear you come in.
Well, hear this, baby. I'm an angel sent by God.
What are you talking about?
You heard me. I am an angel.
What do you want from me?
You're a good man, Ben Horner, but you've lost your way. Do you remember why you started this theater?
Yeah, I wanted to celebrate the kids.
Now you say they're your enemies.
It's a different world now.
Yes, it is. This is a world of fear and anger, where people would rather turn their backs than extend their hands in compassion. And that's a sad state of affairs, because God made human beings to dream together and to inspire each other. You used to believe that, Ben.
A long time ago, maybe.
17 years to be exact. The last time you tried to change somebody's life.
A disaster. The young man was so angry and so lost.
You gave him a job and tried to show him a new direction.
Yeah, he nearly destroyed this place. It was the drugs. I probably could have done more about it, but I had to.
The point is, you tried. What happened after that was not your fault. But the sins of the father are not the sins of the son.
Jay-Z?
That's right. Unlike his father, he could be a leader. He could help to change things around here. And so could you.
Change things? How am I supposed to do that?
Ask God for inspiration, and then use it to inspire others. It's all there if you're listening. Are you listening?
I can hear it. I can hear it, Tess. It's a song. Hold on, I gotta write it down.
Ben. Ben.
She's an angel, Wally. Can you see her? Look. Right there.
Are you all right, Ben?
How? Wally, I've just seen the future of the theater. No. Actually, I heard it. It's all in my head. It's a song that just came to me, and it's gonna change everything.
I'm gonna get you a glass of water.
I'll be terrific. Oh, I gotta write this down.
A song that will change everything, Tess?
That's right, baby. Oh, no. No, baby.
He ran out of time, Tess.
What's happening, Tess?
I don't know, baby. I just don't know.
Poor Wally. It's like losing a father.
Tess, Ben was supposed to change everything. But now Ben isn't here. Are we finished?
No, Gloria, we're not finished. When God makes a plan, he sees it through. So if it's not going to be plan A with Ben, it'll be plan B with somebody else.
Hey. I'm not painting over this, mister.
Why would I want you to? It's an old flat.
Maybe you don't like my art.
No, I do, actually. I like it a lot. I thought maybe you needed some supplies.
So you just came out here just to give me free paint?
Yeah.
No. I don't believe you. You want something. They all do.
Who's they?
Adults. I mean, they're always like, hey, get the hell out of here and get a job.
Do something productive.
What are you, a gangbanger?
Is that what your parents tell you?
Yeah. My dad says that to me every day.
Man, what are you talking about, Jay-Z? You don't even have a dad.
Hey, shut up, Odie.
Look. Enjoy the supplies. See ya.
Are we canceling the show?
Ben would have wanted us to continue.
First thing he taught me is that the show goes on no matter what.
He had no equal. Teacher, director, friend.
When he took me under his wing, I didn't know Stephen Foster from Gwen Stefani. He taught me that there were a lot of great songs written before I was even born.
Compatriot, leader. He believed in this little troop of thespians when nobody else would. Our impresario. He was our Aristotle. And this little theater our Lyceum. And now we are a ship without a rudder.
So when life's bright
There are not enough metaphors in the English language to express how much we loved him.
Rough wind at Mona's loud. Grief too sad for soul.
This town used to love the Egyptian. Back when we did children's plays. On the first Saturday of every new season, winter, spring, summer, fall, this theater was the only place people wanted to be. Especially the kids. But now...
People, we have to cut to the chase. Now, Ben always said, the show must go on.
I agree. And I say we do it in his honor.
Well, in that case, I make a motion to carry on with the show as a memorial to Ben Horner.
Don't we need, like, a director?
Of course. We need to appoint an interim artistic director, preferably someone with her finger on the pulse of the broader theatrical community.
You mean someone like you?
I would be honored to serve you.
Excuse me. But...
You don't talk. You take notes. You're not on the board.
True. But the theater's charter prohibits the appointment of officers. If you want a new artistic director, you're going to have to put it to a vote.
Fine, then we'll vote. Naomi. It's spelled just like it sounds.
Excuse us. Ben hired us for the whole week, and we're wondering if you want us to continue filming.
Damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead.
Marvelous. You'll be here to capture the beginning of a new era for the Egyptian.
A brand new course. Bigger, better, and brighter than ever.
Listen,
Wally.
What happens if there's a tie?
Well, Ben always had 5 members on the board to make sure that didn't happen.
We don't have anybody left.
I make a motion, we add Wally to the board.
Isn't there anybody else in town we could choose?
Yes, but the sooner we select a director, the sooner we find out who gets the lead in the spring production.
Second.
Wally, welcome to the board.
Thanks. Well, thanks, I think.
On with the vote.
Okay, folks, just a reminder, the bylaws say that you cannot vote for yourselves.
This must be very frustrating for you.
What?
Having all this artistic energy and no place to put it.
Well, I'm putting it where I want to put it.
It's vivid. A lot of anger in there.
Yeah, well, life sucks.
Well, maybe if you put that anger into real art, people would pay attention.
Well, what do you mean?
Like those people in there.
I don't need nothing from them.
Well, maybe they need something from you.
Latrina.
Yo, whoever voted for me, I won't let you down.
I don't understand. There must be some mistake.
Stop babbling. What's the verdict?
Well, by a vote of 4-1, it would appear that the new artistic director is me.
Plan B?
I guess so. So, Calvin, this is a very interesting turn of events, Wally being elected artistic director. How do you think that happened?
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. I voted for Wally because he was the lesser of three evils. But apparently, I wasn't having an original thought. Wally is good people, open to good ideas, impressionable, malleable, easily led.
What do you think he should do about the kids outside?
Ignore them. And their childish cries for attention.
I voted for him because he's like, you know, not Calvin, Herbert, or Naomi. And the kids? You ever heard that song, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places?
No man is an island. John Donne. I truly believe that. In fact, I think it would be fair to say that I've striven to conform my whole life to that basic principle. I'm sorry, what was the question again?
I think that I have what I need.
I asked myself, Naomi, who is the best person here to lead this theater into the 21st century? But since it couldn't be me, I needed to know who was second best. And then it dawned on me it could only be one person. And it was...
Wally?
Yes, that's it. And as for the children, well, it must be tragic to be so desperate for other people's approval.
Wow. Me, artistic director. I hope I'm up to it.
Oh, you're a natural, baby. You'll be just fine.
Not an easy job. I used to watch Ben dealing with all the, he used to call them personalities. And I hope I learned something.
Well, I think you've got a lot of personalities outside of this theater that could use some attention, too.
But those punks? It was a stress they put on Ben.
Ben wanted to help them.
Oh, no. Even Ben knew a lost cause when he saw one.
Did he?
Think patriotic!
Wally! Wally. Wallace. Such a masculine Celtic name. Have I ever told you how much I love your name?
No.
Well, anyway, I think I've got it. The grand finale. Since this is a tribute to Ben, why not use one of the theater's high watermarks? My Joan. He loved me burning at the stake.
Yes, he did. So much he lit the match himself.
Herbert, that's lowering the bar.
You loved it. I know you did.
Loved is a strong word.
Booyah! Oh, no!
Mr. Artistic Director, since clearly you are still in need of pitches for the finale, why not make it a fitting capstone to Ben's life in the theater?
Such as?
Well, I have the perfect hood ornament for the Rolls Royce that was Ben's life. 2 words, Ziegfeld Follies.
Ziegfeld Follies?
Exactly. The master showman, Reed Ben, producing for our edification eye-catching Ziegfeld girls, gowns, gems, peacock feathers, and jazz. Frankie and Johnny were lovers. Lordy, how they could love. Swore they'd be true to each other, true to the skies above. He was her man, but he was doing her wrong.
You know, if we have to do Frankie and Johnny, my boyfriend Johnny can play Johnny.
Does anyone smell smoke?
Oh my God, look, the garbage can's on fire.
Oh, get the fire extinguisher! Hurry up!
Wally, I can't work like this. The safety of our company's at stake.
Wally, when are you going to do something about those street punks? That's right. Stop being indecisive.
Fine. You want action? I'll give you action. Now listen up. This is Wally Nybo, artistic director of the Egyptian Theater. This theater and one block in each direction is now officially a punk-free zone. So take your crime elsewhere. This area is reserved for theatergoers, and they have the right to spend an evening out without any trouble. If you want to buy a ticket, the box office is open every day. Otherwise, take a hike. And another thing. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., we rehearse the grand finale. And there will be no dirty dancing, no Joan of Arc, and no zigzag. It'll be whatever I say it is. Don't be late.
Wally, are you okay?
Never felt better. What about the finale?
I have no idea.
They finally did it. Those punks of yours broke in. Huh? See? Well, we're all here, Wally, just like you asked. 10 a.m. sharp.
Everything's trashed.
The dressing rooms are even worse.
This is all your fault, Wally.
Yeah, Ben never would have inflamed those hoodlums like you did.
The Ben Horner era lasted 50 years. The Wally Nybo era, 1 day.
What do you mean?
The show can't go on now. What's the point?
This was supposed to be rehearsal for the grand finale. Well, apparently it was our real finale.
Oh, Tess, this is terrible.
Oh, no, little angel. We're finally making progress.
What kind of an idiot provokes a gang of teenage delinquents? That would be Wally. Oh, I suppose we're the idiots who gave him the job.
So, guess it's all over.
Not if you help them through this. You're their leader now, aren't you?
The leader needs followers. They're gone. Theater's destroyed.
Wally?
It's done. It's time for this theater and me to fade away.
No, Wally.
Just leave, okay?
Thy worldly task hast done. Home art gone, and day and thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust.
Herbert, in all the years we've been working together, performing side by side, how come you never once stopped by my office for a cleaning? Never once said, Calvin, my gums are bleeding. Could you take a look?
Calvin, as much as I admire your gift with bicuspids and molars, I've always felt that there should be a separation between church and state.
You never trusted me, did you?
My Lancome.
My cranberry cocktail.
We go out not in a blaze of glory, but in tatters and shreds.
This cost me like $4.
Maybe it's a wonder we lasted this long. I mean, with a dentist playing Lear? Insanity.
Hey, how about a shrew playing Joan of Arc?
What?
The oldest living Ophelia in the history of the theater. Ungrateful, self-centered.
Pot calling the kettle?
That's right, you fat ham.
Latrina! Now there's a name that could launch 1,000 ships.
Hey, Latrina!
Talking of ham, why don't you try pushing yourself away from a table once in a while?
Trained monkeys could have given a better performance.
This is insufferable. I can't wait to get out of here.
Well, then let's call the demo crew and raise the building tonight.
Wait, guys. Look.
What's that?
Oh, my.
Curtain up, folks.
What is this?
Enter the angel.
The angel?
Putting on a private performance scripted by God for an audience of 5 right here on this stage that has filled the holes in your hearts for years.
I don't understand. You're a...
Yes, Calvin, I'm an angel. Here with a message for you. You have a very big voice, but you have a very small self-concept. You sing on this stage because in your heart you believe no one finds you interesting.
God knows that?
Yes, baby.
I'm a dentist. Colorless job, colorless man. Except for my voice. When I sing, people think I'm special, interesting, charismatic.
God wants you to know that He finds you interesting every moment of your life. In every little thing you do, filling cavities or singing. God loves you, Calvin.
He loves me.
And you, Naomi. For all these years, you've played strong characters on this stage because at home, you felt weak, didn't you?
Are you? Did God send you too?
Yes, He did. Because He knows that you've been at the mercy of someone, haven't you?
Yes. Yes, I have. Alan.
Bona, Vera, after we're married, you know what I'm going to do? He asked excitedly. I'm going to get you your very own little beeper. Why? Vera asked, horrified. So no matter where you are or what you're doing, I can always beep you. Oh, I'll just keep my lips on hold, Vera murmured. They tried to plan dinner. I am going to take you to a nice Chinese restaurant, Steve proposed. I don't really like Chinese, Vera admitted. How about Italian? I don't care much for Italian. Mexican? I don't care much for Mexican. Greek? I never like Greek. French? I don't really like French. Except for fries, Vera said. How about American? Steve asked, desperate. I could go for a nice big steak. I'm not a big beef eater, Vera said softly. Chicken? I love chicken cacciatore. Well, I don't care much for Italian, Steve sighed. The silence stretched, filled only by the squeaking of Vera's hamsters, Harold and Ditzy. Oh, you have hamsters, Steve noted, looking at the cage with disdain. I put them over by the stove so they could pretend they were in the tropics. Vera explained. I never really had a pet, Steve confessed. See, I was always more interested in machines, things I could tear apart and see what made them tick. Vera looked at Harold and Ditzy, then at Steve. She realized that while Steve wanted to tear things apart to see how they worked, she just wanted to let them be. We don't seem to have a heck of a lot in common, Steve said finally. Except we both graduated from what we all know, Vera said. They looked at each other and softly chanted, Pumalaka, Pumalaka. It was a sad little cheer. Gee, I don't know how to say this, but I think we're going too fast. Vera said, Do you really? Steve asked, looking relieved. Honey, how would you feel if we postponed the engagement? Relieved. Vera exhaled. Made to. Back at the diner, Mel had gone all out. There was champagne Santa Guinina, Vangias, which Mel insisted was the best because it came in returnable bottles. Mel, we're here to help the car, Alice announced as she walked in with Vera and Steve. Mel had called them earlier, claiming a dead battery, to lure them back for the surprise party. Surprise! Everyone shouted. Vera looked at the balloons, the streamers, and the cheap champagne. She looked at Steve. We have an announcement to make, Vera said. You set the wedding day, Mel guessed. No. We broke the engagement, Vera said brightly. The room went silent. Mel's face fell. See, we discovered that we don't have a lot in common yet, Vera explained. It's just, there are some things that he likes that I don't like, and some things that I like that he doesn't like. Maybe he could learn to like what I like, and it's likely we'll like each other even more. She added, confusing everyone, including herself. Well, I'm confused. Is this a happy occasion or not? Mel asked, holding the bottle. Well, I'm happy, Vera smiled. And I'm thrilled, Steve added. Mel shrugged. A party was a party, and the champagne was already open. Well, then, what are we waiting for? Let's celebrate your disengagement. As the music started, Vera grabbed a glass. She wasn't Mrs. Steve Marsh. She was Vera Louise Gorman, holder of the world record for non-stop tap dancing, liberator of worms, and for the first time in a long time, she was perfectly fine with that. Chapter 3. The Electrician of Love. The neon sign above Mel's diner was less of a beacon and more of a cry for help. For weeks, the red tubing had sputtered and died, leaving the roadside establishment to advertise itself simply as Mel's. Nair. Mel's trying to put the dye back in diner, Alice Hyatt quipped as she cleared the breakfast dishes. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of bacon grease and Mel's growing frustration. Mel, why don't you hire a real electrician to fix that sign on the roof? Alice asked, dodging a tray of dirty mugs. Because they overcharge. Mel grunted, scraping the grill with violent strokes. Well, you nearly overcharged your entire body up there, Vera chimed in, wide-eyed. About 50,000 volts of electricity? That's your fault, Mel roared, pointing a spatula at Jolene. The argument was cut short by the chime of the door. A man stood there, framed by the blinding phoenix sun. He wore a tuxedo that had clearly seen better decades. The lapels were frayed. The shirt was a ruffled pink nightmare, and he carried a suitcase that seemed to weigh more than he did. Alice! Vera! Look who's here, Mel shouted, though his face betrayed total confusion. Who is he? His face is familiar. Can't figure his name. The stranger smiled, a sad, lopsided expression. The waitresses squinted. The recognition hit Vera first. You worked in the hotel, the Siesta Mirage Hotel that we stayed in Vegas, she gasped. You're the busboy, Morty. Morty! Morte. Monty. Monty, in the flesh. The man corrected, dropping his suitcase with a heavy thud. Monty Hickman had arrived, and he brought a cloud of tragedy with him. He shuffled to a booth, collapsing as if his strings had been cut. You said if I ever get to Phoenix, I should look you guys up, so here I am, he sighed. Jolene introduced herself, extending a hand. I'm Jolene Honeycutt. Monty stared at her, then burst into tears. How tall are you? He sobbed. About 5'9". Jolene answered, startled. You see, it's just that Jolene reminds me of Raven, my ex-fiancée, Monty wailed. She's an exotic dancer at this Siesta Mirage. How exotic, Mel muttered. A capital X. Monty's story spilled out like a spilled drink. Yeah, we were supposed to be married yesterday. There, I was in my white wedding suit, with a pink ruffled shirt, standing at the altar of the wedding Lazarus Chapel. She never showed up? Alice asked gently. She left you standing at the altar? Vera added, horrified. Well, I stood for a while, but then I sat down. 8 hours on your feet is rough. Monty admitted, rubbing his ankles. You waited 8 hours? Alice asked. Maybe she couldn't get a cab. Monty shook his head. So I just grabbed the first bus out of town. Here I am, in the lonely flesh. The problem of where Monty would stay arose immediately. He had no money, no plan, and nowhere to go. Mel, sensing an opportunity to exploit human misery for capital gain, pounced. You said the sign on the roof is on the fritz, Monty mentioned, looking upward. I'll fix it. You can rewire that sign? Mel asked, his eyes narrowing. It's a breeze, Monty said. Can you fix a freezer? It's a cinch. How about leaky pipes? Snop. For room and board? Deal, Mel declared. I found myself a handyman. He led Monty to the back. Why don't you stay in the storeroom? You could sleep on the sofa, Mel offered generously. As Monty disappeared into the storeroom, dragging his heavy heart and heavier suitcase, Mel turned to the girls. There's nothing like hard work to get your mind off your problems, he rationalized. It could be good therapy for you, Alice agreed, sarcastically. And pretty soon, you'll forget all about how Raven toyed with your affections, jilted you, and discarded you like yesterday's crumpled newspaper. Monty poked his head out, looking devastated. Was it something I said? Mel asked. Alice took it upon herself to act as the emotional triage unit. She found Monty unpacking in the storeroom, surrounded by sacks of flour and cans of tomato paste. So, you really love this Raven, huh? Alice asked, sitting on a crate. Ever since I saw her dance on stage. Ooh, what that girl could do with feathers. Monty reminisced, his eyes glazing over. She had this one number where she actually molted. Must have been a very moving experience, Alice said, keeping a straight face. She tried to boost his confidence. Well, listen, you're a very intelligent, good-looking young man with a lot on the ball and a lot to offer, she told him. Monty looked up, hope kindling in his eyes. Good-looking? Yes. Well, you have wonderful, expressive eyes and a terrific head of hair, Alice insisted. You like my hair? It's naturally curly, Monty beamed. I'll tell you, if I'm such a hot number, why would Raven want to pass up this, huh? Maybe she couldn't see the real you through all her feathers. Alice soothed. Monty stared at her. In his grief-stricken, sleep-deprived state, he heard not kindness, but a declaration. Listen, do you have any plans for dinner tonight? He asked. Only that I plan to eat. Alice joked. Will you go on and grab a quick bite with me? Sure. Alice agreed casually, thinking she was doing a favor for a sad, lonely man. She didn't realize she had just accepted a date with a man on the rebound from a showgirl who molted. That evening, Alice returned to the diner, dressed for a casual bite. She walked toward the storeroom, calling his name. Monty, Monty. The door swung open. The storeroom had been transformed. A checkered tablecloth covered a stack of crates. Candles flickered dangerously close to the cardboard boxes. Monty stood there, a napkin draped over his arm like a waiter at the Ritz. Welcome to Monty's Chestoru, he announced with a flourish. I knew you would prefer dining in than going out to some noisy hash house and how you say pig out, he said, affecting a terrible French accent. What are you cooking out there? That's definitely not Mel's food, Alice asked, sniffing the air. I have prepared a complete Italian dinner for you, Monty declared. And why are you speaking French? Alice asked, bewildered. Because Italian is the language of linguini, but French is the language of l'eau, Monty explained, butchering the word for love. He pulled out a mandolin from behind a sack of potatoes and began to strum. You and the night and the music fill me with flaming desire that will not be incompletely on fire, he sang, staring intensely into Alice's eyes. Alice froze. The kindness she had offered had fermented into obsession. Listen, I hate to drink and run, she stammered, backing toward the door. Alice, I want to thank you for that talk we had this afternoon, Monty said, putting down the mandolin. I want you to know I've forgotten all about Raven. She's part of my past. And you, Alice, are my present and hopefully my future. Alice fled. The next morning, the situation had deteriorated. Monty was fixing pipes under the sink, humming loudly. I gotta go talk to him, Alice told Mel and Vera. This is serious. Man thinks he's in love with me, and I have to tell him that I don't feel the same way. Boy, he's having a terrific week. First Raven, and now you. Now this is gonna put him right in the old dumpster, Mel predicted. Alice approached the sink. Monty, I have to talk to you. No. No more knuckle kissing, and no more language of love. No more language of linguini. Monty stood up, wiping his hands. My feelings for you are not the same as your feelings for me, Alice said firmly. I like you very, very much, but only as a friend. You don't love me? Monty asked, his voice small. That's right. I don't love you, Alice confirmed. Monty nodded slowly. A scary calmness settled over him. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? Alice said to Mel moments later, relieved. I was gentle but firm. Kind but forceful. Hey, there's a guy on your roof, a customer shouted, pointing out the window. He's climbing up on the side. He says he's gonna jump. Alice ran outside. There, standing precariously on the rusted metal of the diner sign, was Monty. He was looking at the sky, shouting at the Almighty. Hello, God. You hear me, God? Monty Hickman calling, he yelled. Listen, God, why are all these problems with my love life? Nothing but heartaches from women? Monty? No, no. You're not a woman too, he said, looking down at Alice. It's me, Alice. Why are you doing this? Because you tore out my heart. Monty screamed. Because you, Alice, and you alone, drove me to this behavior. Monty, you're putting me in a terrible position, Alice pleaded. Not as bad as mine, Monty shot back. Mel pushed through the crowd. Monty, you'll get down there. Forget it, Mel. I'm checking out. Calling it quits. Cashing in my chips. Pulling the plug. Monty listed, exhausting his supply of euphemisms. Is there anything I can say that will get you to come down? Anything? Alice cried. You can say, I'll marry you, Monty, he demanded. Anything else? You're jumping. I want to hear the words. I'll marry you, Monty, he insisted. Mel grabbed Alice's arm. Lie to him. Read him your lips. I can't lie to him, Mel. Just then, a lanky teenager pushed through the crowd. Hey, just a big crowd around the diner, Tommy Hyatt observed. Chewing gum, they probably want to get fed. They're looking at your mom, Mel said. She's up on the sign. Why, Mom? Having a rough day? Tommy asked casually. Alice had an idea. She climbed the ladder, emerging onto the roof, next to Monty. Mom, he's your kid? Monty asked, looking down at the giant teenager. Yeah, his name's Tommy. How'd you get a kid that big? Monty marveled. If you have to ask. I don't think you're ready to get married, Alice said dryly. He looks like a nice kid, but he must be expensive to feed, eh? Monty asked, his practical side warring with his suicidal ideation. Well, he's a growing boy, Alice said. Look at those feet. How old are you, kid? Monty shouted down. Almost 17. Tommy yelled back. 17? That's not so bad. Soon you'll graduate from high school, get a job, be able to feed yourself, eh? Monty reasoned. No, then he's going to go to college, Alice corrected. Do you want college costs these days? Monty paled. College costs? Tommy, he's going to go to one of those really expensive colleges back east, Alice improvised. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, he's going to need new clothes, books, an apartment off campus, and a new car? Tommy shouted up helpfully. I'd prefer a Ferrari. Monty looked at Alice. He looked at Tommy. He looked at the Ferrari that didn't exist yet, but already cost $100,000 in his mind. Listen, Alice, Monty said, stepping back from the ledge. I had no idea that you came with this kind of overhead. He straightened his ruffled shirt. Alice, there's no easy way for me to say this, but I'm far too young to just settle down with the first woman who throws herself at my feet. I understand, Alice said, hiding a smile. You want to come down with me now, Monty? Great. They climbed down. The adrenaline faded, leaving Monty looking just like a tired busboy in a dirty tuxedo. Well, Alice, listen, it's been fun, huh? A barrel of laughs, Monty said awkwardly. I guess I better go back to Vegas, huh? Right. Don't worry about it. In time, you'll forget all about me, Alice promised. I'll try to, Manny. Monty, she corrected herself one last time. Monty picked up his suitcase. Ah, it's working already. I guess I'll see you guys later. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mel shouted. You said you're going to fix my sign. Would Monty Hickman let you down? I fixed it already. Watch this, Monty said with a grin. He flipped the switch on the wall. Outside, the sign buzzed, crackled, and illuminated. Milspunkta N. Oh, oh, oh man. All right. Thank you, Mel sighed, watching the defective sign flicker against the twilight. Monty Hickman walked off into the sunset, or at least toward the Greyhound station, leaving behind a partially fixed sign, a confused teenager who still wanted a Ferrari, and a waitress who vowed never to accept a dinner invitation that involved a storeroom and a mandolin ever again. Chapter 4. The Stick, the Stoop, and the Sham. The calm at Mel's diner was deceptive, like the eye of a storm that smelled faintly of burnt toast. Mel Sharples was in his natural habitat behind the counter, dispensing rejection like it was a condiment. Mel, I want some time off, Vera pleaded, leaning over the counter. No way, Mel shot back, not even looking up from his ledger. My rule says that you do not get a vacation until you have worked here 1 year. But this is for a real good reason. Mel tapped a greasy finger on his record book. My records indicate that you have worked here only 11 months. 11 months is not 12 months. The case is closed. Mel, thanks for nothing. Vera huffed, storming off to take her break. Before Mel could gloat about his managerial firmness, a voice from the past boomed across the diner. Mel? Mel Sharples? Gurney Ravachat. Oh, you dirty rat. Mel froze. He turned to see a man who looked like the successful, well-tailored version of himself. Gordy, the stick, Ravachat. You gave it to my brother, and now I'm gonna get to you. Gordy joked, approaching with a wide grin. I couldn't come to Phoenix without seeing my good old friend from Brooklyn. He wasn't alone. Clinging to his arm was a woman who looked expensive. I'd like you to meet my girlfriend, Lynette Lacey, Gordy introduced. Mel's competitive hackles rose instantly. He wiped his hands on his apron, trying to wipe away the failure along with the grease. Hey, Mel. It's hard to believe it's been 30 years, Gordy reminisced. Remember stickball? They used to call him the Stick. Yeah, remember playing stoop ball? Mel countered. They used to call you the Stoop. He was okay. But I was better, Gordy told the women, winking. The measuring contest had begun. Gordy flashed a diamond ring that looked like a skating rink. I bet it wasn't easy, centering that diamond right on the tip of the lizard's tongue, Mel sniped. Yeah, well, I put all my money into gold, Mel lied effortlessly. I got it safe in the back. Smart. Keep it away from the wife. Gordy nodded. No, I'm not married yet. Still a holdout, Mel bragged, digging the hole deeper. That doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of women out there that are still trying to tame this wild stallion. You're never married enough. I've been divorced already 3 times, Gordy admitted. Yeah, well, I've broken off engagements. 4 times, Mel topped him. Too bad you're bombing out, Gordy said, pity in his eyes. Mel couldn't handle the pity. Bombing out? Bombing out? Got a beautiful blonde that's crazy about me, he blurted out. Alice, walking by with a tray of dirty dishes, nearly dropped them. Oh, yeah. Don't bust your table, Mel, muttered to her. The trap snapped shut a moment later. Say, Mel, let's have dinner tonight, Gordy proposed. We'll meet you at the Camelback Inn, say, around 8 o'clock, and bring your girl. 8 o'clock, and bring my girl, Mel repeated, his stomach dropping. Gordy and Lynette left, leaving Mel in a puddle of his own fabrication. Mel Sharples. Alice scolded. Does Marie know about your other girlfriend? What other girlfriend? I made that up, Mel confessed. You mean you lied? I get sick and tired of hearing Gordy say, I can do this, and I can do that. He always can do things better to me. He tops me. Mel whined. He needed a blonde. Fast. He looked around the diner. His eyes landed on Jolene Honeycutt. Charlene, Mel called out, getting her name wrong in his panic. How would you like to do me a favor? Do you a favor when pigs wear perfume? Jolene retorted. Alice stepped in as the negotiator. She saw an opportunity. Wait a minute. Mel wants a favor from Jolene, right? And Jolene wants a favor from Mel? Maybe we could work something out. Like you let Jolene go back home in exchange for her going out to dinner with you tonight, Alice proposed. That's blackmail, Mel grumbled. You get 3 days off, Mel offered. 7, Jolene countered. No way, 7. I'll give you a 5. She's firm on 6, Alice brokered. Mel, do you want Gordy to go home and spread the word? You're a loser, Alice whispered. All right, 6, Mel caved. But you've got to wear something black and sexy and throw kisses. The deal was struck. Jolene would play the part of the adoring girlfriend, and Mel would pay for her bus ticket home. Dinner at the Camelback Inn was a masterclass in overacting. Jolene, dressed in a black gown Mel had paid for, draped herself over him like a cheap rug. Darling, I'm bad, Mel purred, trying to sound suave. Say, Mel, how'd you ever get so lucky? Meeting a dish like Jolene, Gordy asked, impressed. Fate, fate, Mel said poetically. Jolene just walked into my diner just when I needed a waitress. And just like that, we found... what? Love. We found love. L-O-V-E. Jolene spelled out, beaming. You got yourself a smart one, Mel. She spells. Gordy nodded approvingly. Mel was sweating. He just needed to get through dessert. But Gordy had one more card to play. Since this is our last night in Phoenix, I have an announcement to make. Lynette and I are engaged, Gordy announced. Arrah, congratulations, Mel cheered, relieved. We are skipping right past the engagement, and we're going right to the wedding, Gordy continued. In 48 hours. Too bad you two won't be able to make it, Gordy said, assuming they were busy. Mel, driven by a demonic need to not be outdone, opened his mouth. I have an announcement to make. We are skipping right past the engagement, and we're going right to the wedding. Jolene kicked him under the table. We'll be there, Gordy promised. We want to congratulate the new Mr. and Mrs. Sharples in person. Back at the diner, the situation had spiraled from a simple lie into a complex legal and logistical nightmare. Mel, I can't believe you're going through with this wedding. It's wrong, Alice argued. Gordy gets back to Brooklyn. He's gonna tell everybody that Mel Sharples is not a loser. He had music at his wedding, Mel insisted. If Alice were here, she wouldn't approve of this, Alice said, referring to herself in the third person out of sheer frustration. Yes, but Alice isn't here. Jolene, however, saw the silver lining. Now, that bus ticket was for the dinner date and the kissy face. Now, this wedding. Auntie's been up to a plane ticket, she demanded. A plane ticket? That costs so much money, Mel cried. She wants to fly home. If we can pretend to get married, you can pretend you're flying, Vera pointed out helpfully. All right. 1 round-trip plane ticket, Mel agreed. This whole wedding is turning into an ugly business arrangement. Ibu Singro. That's right. I'm all business and you're all ugly. Jolene smiled. The day of the wedding arrived. The diner was decorated with whatever they could find. Henry was the best man, Reverend B.S. Meyer, who was actually a telephone lineman. Where's the happy couple? Gordy asked, entering the diner. Not in here, Mel snapped, adjusting his tie. Let's get organized. Henry, do you know what you're supposed to do? Sighten me, Henry mumbled. What about the ring? Mel panicked. I got the ring, Henry said, producing a piece of costume jewelry. Oh, Mel, my favorite stone. Glass, Jolene sneered. Stow it, Mel hissed. Jolene was starting to look pale. I'm starting to feel queasy. You'll break out in a hide. You are taking a bus, Mel threatened, reneging on the plane ticket in his stress. Okay, here's the deal. Once Jolene is on the airplane, we're talking cocktails, and a headset for the movie. Jolene negotiated right up to the altar. The music started a scratchy record of the wedding march. Mel and Jolene walked down the aisle of linoleum. Shall we begin? The Reverend asked, looking at his watch. I'll start the music. Dingy, Dingy, let us begin. And make it fast, Mel ordered. I now pronounce you man and wife, the Reverend said immediately. Not that fast, Mel corrected. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to join this man and this woman in the bodies of winter. The Reverend read from a manual that was clearly not a Bible. At this time, I'm reminded of the words I learned in my training. Reach out and touch someone, he recited, quoting the AT&T commercial. Speed it up, Hydro, Mel growled. Do you, Melvin Sharples, take Jolene Honeycutt to be your partner in life? I do. And do you, Jolene Honeycutt, take Melvin Sharples to be your partner in life? I do. With the powers vested in me, I now pronounce you man and wife. Mel, you may kiss the bride. Mel leaned in. Jolene turned her cheek. Think of the headset, she whispered. That movie better be dynamite. It was over. Or so they thought. A day to remember. Mel, a very special day, Gordy said, wiping a tear. And mine too. What? Mel asked. We got the license and the blood test this morning. If you can do it, I can do it, Gordy announced. And we'd like Reverend Biesmeyer to officiate. Mel looked at the telephone lineman in the robe. You don't need him. He's very tired. You need a fresh reverend, Mel stammered. He'll be fine, Gordy insisted. Mel couldn't let his friend be married by a man who climbed telephone poles for a living. The charade had gone too far. First things first, Mel shouted, interrupting the service. If there is anyone among us who knows of any reason, anything, why this marriage could not take place. Why, Mel? Gordy asked. Gordy, this whole wedding, it's a sham, Mel confessed, deflating like a punctured tire. Reverend Biesmeyer is not a reverend. He's a telephone lineman, head lineman. And Jolene, she doesn't want to marry me. The diner went silent. You see, you always did things so much better than me, and I was jealous. So this was my idea, Mel admitted, looking at his shoes. You can just go back to Brooklyn. You can tell all the guys that there's nobody out here that loves me. Gordy looked at Mel. He didn't look angry. He looked touched. Oh, Mel. I love you, Jolene said suddenly. Why else would I make a jackass out of myself? Mel asked miserably. I guess that's a form of love, Jolene smiled. I like you, Mel. Very, very much. Gordy clapped Mel on the shoulder. Mel, you got a lot of people right here who love you. And all of Brooklyn will know it. The fake wedding was dissolved. Lynette, Gordy's fiancée, looked relieved. Oh, good. Now I can go back home and have that church wedding I always wanted. And we could even fly in Reverend Beasley, she said. I'll explain it to her later, Gordy whispered to Mel. Mel stood amidst the crepe paper and the fake flowers. A single man again. But for the first time in days, an honest one. Well, so much for the wedding, Mel sighed, taking off his tie. I don't guess I'll be needing these. He handed the fake rings to Henry. Oh, they're heavy on me, Henry noted. As the sun set over Phoenix, Mel Sharples realized that while he might be the stoop to Gordy's stick, at least he didn't have to buy a plane ticket for a wife who hated him. And in Mel's world, that was a victory. Chapter 5. The Matriarch of Mortgage. The departure of Alice and Tommy for a wedding in New Jersey left a vacuum in the diner, a silence that Mel Sharples usually would have filled with shouting. Instead, he filled it with dread. Gee, Mel, I was sort of hoping to see your mother before we had to leave, Alice had said before grabbing her bags. I wish I could leave before she got here. Mel had grumbled, wiping a spot on the counter until the laminate nearly wore through. That's no way to talk about her. Carrie's wonderful, Alice scolded. She is not wonderful, Mel retorted, his eyes darting to the door as if expecting a SWAT team. Until she comes here, something awful happens. Last time she was here, she had me thrown in jail. You deserved it, Alice reminded him. You tried to steal the cookbook she was writing. I didn't steal nothing. She tried to steal my chili recipe, Mel shouted at the memory. That chili recipe is mine, mine, mine. But Alice was gone, and Mel was alone to face the music. Or rather, the author. Carrie Sharples arrived not with a whimper, but with a press tour, She swept into the diner, carrying a stack of books and an air of supreme confidence. Auteur, 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 she announced herself. She handed out copies of her book, Carrie's Continental Kitchen, like she was bestowing gold bars. Here's a copy for both you girls too, she told Vera and Jolene. Recipes from abroad. Carrie, would you autograph mine for me? Vera asked, starstruck. I'm sorry, Vera. My publisher bought that for the general public, you know. But I'll sign yours personally, Carrie said graciously. Mel watched from the service window, unimpressed. So, where's mine? He asked. I got something better for you. Carrie smiled. She pulled out a cardboard standee of a puppy. They use these in bookstores to promote sales. Hey, I think I'll put it over there. Mom, you can't just clutter up the diner with that kind of a display, Mel protested. The waitress has to move around. The customers have to get the register. Try to be nice and see what happens, Carrie warned, her tone sweet but her eyes steel. The visit took a turn from promotional to predatory when Carrie revealed her secondary agenda. She wasn't just here to sell books. She was here to buy land. I'm also here to look for some real estate, Carrie announced over coffee. You see, after Robbie, that's my little hubby, retires, then I want to be near Mel. Mom, Brooklyn is near enough, Mel muttered. You know, I think buying an apartment building in Phoenix is a good investment, she mused. Why don't you look at the one I'm living at? It's up for sale. Mel's eyes lit up. The gears in his head began to grind. How many units? How many units? 6, Mel replied. Who owns the building? A Greek, Carrie noted. I think I'll call Robbie. I'll get his opinion. As she went to the phone, Alice's replacement, Jolene, looked confused. First, you didn't want your mother to move here, and now you do? That's because you never use your brains, dingy, Mel whispered conspiratorially. If my mother owns my building, it'll be just like the good old days. Like when I used to live at home with my mother. She never charged me rent. It was a flawless plan. What could possibly go wrong? The answer came 48 hours later. Carrie returned to the diner, beaming. He called to tell me it's official. I just bought Mel's building, she announced. Congratulations, that's wonderful. Mel cheered, hugging her. Just think, my little mother owns my apartment building. Oh, I am so lucky that my mother is going to take care of her chubby little son and give him a big break on his rent. Carrie patted his cheek. Not so fast, Mr. Sharples. I am running an apartment building, not a mission. Mel froze. Ma, you mean to tell me that you are going to charge your own son $200 a month? Of course not, Carrie said. Mel sighed in relief. You're going to pay $250 a month, she finished. What? Mel screamed. Only $50? Oh, you know what I can do with $50? Buy 5 new suits. Well, Robbie wants you to raise all the rent, Carrie explained calmly. All right, Mom, let us talk reasonable. Mom, I do not charge you to eat in my diner. Why should you charge me to live in your apartment? Mel argued. Araina, Mel argued. 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 But, Mel, all the employees who work here get free meals. Carrie pointed out. Mel exploded. She is not going to work here any longer. Mother, turn in your uniform. Hang up your wedgies. You're through. Through? You mean you're kicking out your own mother? Carrie gasped. Out. Mel pointed to the door. Okay, that's the way you feel. I'm through. I'm finished. I don't care if it's due in 48 years. I'm not paying it, Mel yelled at her back. Well, you better pay it, because if you don't, you're going to have to look for another place to live, Carrie warned. You mean you are going to evict your own son? Mel asked, disbelieving. Carrie turned in the doorway, a silhouette of maternal vengeance. Better me than a stranger. Mel called her bluff. Or so he thought. He returned to his apartment a day later to find the door unlocked. I knew you couldn't stay mad at me for more than 2 days, Mel said, walking in. He saw Carrie cleaning. Where's your mop? Pop, I don't have a mop, she said, strangely. A knock at the door interrupted them. Two strangers stood there. Hello, with advisors, Frank and Francis. What apartment for rent? Mel asked. This apartment, Carrie said sweetly. Come in, I'm just tidying up. She began showing the strangers around Mel's home while he stood there, fuming. As you can see, it has all the modern conveniences, she pitched. It's got, walls. And a dandy ceiling, Frank observed, unimpressed. Can I have a brew? No. Stay out of my refrigerator, Mel snarled. Mother, I want you to get these strange people out of my apartment, Mel demanded. Until you pay me $250. It's my apartment, Kerry corrected. The prospective tenants looked around. We do have a dog, Frank mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't allow pets, Kerry said. Do you mean an animal doesn't live here? Frank asked, looking at Mel. I didn't say that, Carrie smirked. The showing ended, but the war did not. Moments later, heavy footsteps shook the floor. Hey, Salina's brothers. This tenant is moving, Carrie announced. Two large men began picking up Mel's sofa. Hey, 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 hey. You move any of that stuff, I'll break your leg, Mel threatened. What'd you say? One brother asked, towering over Mel. I said if he moves, I'll get that stuff. Please, please be careful. He might trip and break a leg. Mel backpedaled instantly. And now we want you added away, the brother said. Mother Earth. This is not much of a joke anymore, Mel pleaded. I'm going to dump this stuff on the street, the Salina's brother stated. Why not? Just think of it as recycling, Carrie said cheerfully. Mel watched, helpless, as his life was carried out the door. My feet are not leaving this ground, he declared, sitting on the floor. The brothers picked him up too. When Alice returned from her trip, rested and unsuspecting, she walked into the diner to find it transformed. It wasn't a restaurant anymore. It was a furniture showroom. A sofa blocked the entrance. A lamp stood on the counter. What is all this? Where did all this stuff come from? Alice asked Vera. Maybe we won a contest, like Trash for Life, Vera guessed. Mel emerged from the back, wearing pajamas. What am I doing here? I live here, remember? He snapped. Alice, I was a victim, he moaned. A greedy landlord is my mother. She bought my apartment building. Carrie bought your building so she could evict you? Just then, Carrie walked in. Carrie, how could you do this to your own son? Alice asked, appalled. I'm sorry, Alice. I didn't think he'd come here, Carrie admitted. She looked at Mel's furniture, cluttering the diner. Mel's right. You'd have to give the bellboy one heck of a tip. I can't believe all this happened in 5 days. Mel sighed. Carrie explained her position. It's the only way I can pay my mortgage and hire a building manager, she said. Alice paused. A light bulb went on. What building manager? The building never had a manager before, Mel noted. Look, when I go back to Brooklyn, I need somebody here to take care of it for me, Carrie said. I have an idea who can take care of it for you. Who? Mel. Alice proposed. Mel? Carrie asked, skeptical. He knows how to do things cheap, Alice argued. That's true, Mel agreed. And he knows all the rent dodges because he's tried them all, Alice added. Plus, you never need a watchdog. Mel's meaner, Carrie considered it. And I bet if you let him live rent-free, he'd do the job for you, Alice closed the deal. Ah, rent-free, of course, Mel said, seeing salvation. Well, that's a disgusting thought, Carrie shuddered. But she smiled. Well, it sounds like a good idea to me. What do you say, Chubby? Oh, Mommy dearest, Mel sighed, hugging her. Order was restored. Mel had his apartment back, Carrie had her investment secured, and the Salinas brothers would presumably be hired to move everything back in. It's just like a scene right out of a movie, Alice observed. Yeah, Mel said, looking at his mother. The one where Dale Evans measures trigger for a new saddle. As Carrie left to ride over here, Mel lay down on his sofa, right in the middle of the diner floor. It's a beautiful evening out, he muttered. A wonderful night for sleeping under the stars. He closed his eyes, grateful that while he couldn't choose his family, he could at least negotiate a lease with them. The special of the day, a novel of Mel's Dîner, prologue. 1,130 Bush Highway. The Arizona sun didn't just shine on Phoenix. It leaned against it, a heavy, oppressive weight that flattened shadows and turned the asphalt of Bush Highway into a shimmering river of heat. It was the kind of heat that made the air conditioner on the roof of Mel's diner rattle like a dying man's chest, a mechanical wheeze that was the only thing louder than the sizzling of the grill. Inside, the diner smelled of three things, always. Stale coffee, industrial lemon cleaner, and chili that had been simmering since the Eisenhower administration. It was a smell that got into your hair, your clothes, and your soul. For Alice Hyatt, it was the smell of a layover that had turned into a life. She stood behind the counter, wiping down the formica with a rag that had seen better days, watching the dust motes dance in the shaft of light cutting through the blinds. I used to be sad, she hummed under her breath, the lyrics of a song she was working on drifting through her mind. I used to be shy, Alice. The bark came from the pickup window. Mel Sharple stood there, his face framed by the stainless steel pass-through like a gargoyle guarding a castle of grease. He was wearing his signature white t-shirt, a grease-stained apron, and a hat that looked like it had been through a war. Pick up, Alice. The meatloaf is getting cold, and Henry is getting old. Henry was old when he walked in. Mel, Alice shot back, grabbing the plate. She winked at Jolene Hunnicutt, who was refilling sugar dispensers at the far end of the counter. Don't mind him, sugar. Jolene drawled, her South Carolina accent thick enough to spread on toast. He's just cranky 'cause his chili bubble burst. Stow it, Blondie. Mel grumbled, retreating back into the kitchen. This was the rhythm. The heat, the bark, the sass, the grease. It wasn't Broadway, and it certainly wasn't the life Alice had promised her son Tommy when they left New Jersey. But as she looked around at Vera Gorman, trying to figure out how to operate the new toaster, at Henry Biesmeyer, staring mournfully at his blue plate special, Alice realized that for better or worse, this dysfunction was family, and like any family, they were about to have a very, very strange week. Chapter 1. The man on page 123. Henry Biesmeyer sat on his usual stool, the vinyl cracked in a shape that perfectly accommodated his posterior after years of dedicated patronage. He poked at the meatloaf with his fork, treating it less like food and more like a suspicious biological specimen. So, Henry, Alice said, pouring him a fresh cup of coffee. What's the verdict? Is it safe for human consumption? The meatloaf always gets a laugh, Alice. Henry sighed, adjusting his glasses. But I think this time the joke's on my colon. From the kitchen, Mel's voice boomed out again. But this time it wasn't an order. It was a gasp. A genuine, strangled gasp of shock. Alice and Jolene exchanged a look. Mel? Alice called out. Everything okay back there? Did the health inspector finally find the rat? Mel burst through the swing doors, clutching a hardcover book in his large, hairy hands as if it were a holy relic. His face was flushed a deep crimson, contrasting sharply with his white hat. You're reading during working hours? Alice teased, leaning against the counter. I'm sorry, Mel. From now on, I'll leave you alone on my breaks. Can it, Alice? Mel waved the book frantically. Do you know what this is? This is the autobiography of Felicia Blake. Felicia Blake? Vera chirped, her eyes widening behind her oversized glasses. Oh, she's one of my favorite movie actresses. I read about that book in The Star. It's supposed to be chock full of fiery passions and torrid affairs. Steamy romance. Jolene added with a grin. Hot-blooded lovers. Exactly. Mel slammed the book down on the counter, nearly sending Henry's coffee into orbit. So, I'm reading it, right? I'm on page 123. Felicia is describing the most exciting kiss of her life. Henry looked up from his meatloaf. Was it with a human? Zip it, Henry, Mel snapped. Mel, Alice said gently. There are about 4 million people in Brooklyn. That's hardly a DNA match. Read it! Mel shoved the book under Alice's nose. She says it was a magical night on the beach at Coney Island. That's where I did some of my best smooching. And listen to this part. Little did I, Franny Bukowski, as I was called then, suspect that night I would receive the most pulsating kiss of my life from a pair of lips that wouldn't quit. Mel paused for dramatic effect, his chest puffing out. Bukowski, he shouted. Franny Bukowski. I knew a Franny Bukowski. Brooklyn, Coney Island. It fits. That kisser, that could be me. The diner went silent for a beat. Then, simultaneously, Jolene, Alice, and Henry burst into laughter. It was a harsh, raucous sound that bounced off the tile walls. You? Jolene cackled, clutching her side. Mel, sugar. Do you seriously believe you are the Mel that kissed Felicia Blake? Why not? Mel looked genuinely hurt, which only made him look more like a sad bulldog. I kissed lots of dames in Brooklyn. Hundreds. Thousands. Arrest that man. He's the mad kisser of Coney Island. You'll keep reading. Dingy. Mel pointed a sausage-like finger at Vera. Read the description. Vera picked up the book, squinting. As long as I live, I'll never forget his cool, piercing eyes. His wavy hair. Pasity. Alase, pasity. Mel snatched his hat off, revealing a scalp that had long ago surrendered its waviness to the march of time. Wavy hair, that was me. His sexy smile, Vera continued. His firm, muscular body, Mel flexed. It was less of a flex and more of a shifting of bulk, like cargo settling on a ship. It is me. Just think, girls. These lips, he puckered up, making a sound like a plunger lifting off a wet floor, could be the lips that wouldn't quit. Attached to their body that did. I hate to burst your bubble, Mel, Alice said, wiping a tear of laughter from her eye. But there are other Mels from Brooklyn. You know, ones that might have actually kept their hair? Jealousy, Mel scoffed, putting his hat back on. Sheer jealousy. I'm the only Mel with the magic lips. If those lips could talk, Henry muttered, they'd apologize to my stomach. The obsession didn't end there. By the next afternoon, Mel had transformed from a fry cook into a man possessed by his own mythology. He had gone to the print shop. Hey everybody, look what I got, Mel announced, strutting into the diner with a stack of bright pink flyers. He slapped one onto the window, blocking the view of the parking lot. Meet Mel from page 123. The man Felicia couldn't forget. Alice stared at the flyer. Mel, this will bring people in? Why didn't you just stick handbills on car windshields? Who told you about the handbills? Mel looked panicked. You put them on windshields? Jolene asked, horrified. In this heat? The glue is gonna melt and fuse to the glass, Mel. You're gonna have a lawsuit, not a fan club. You gotta believe, Mel shouted. Just believe it. No one is gonna walk in this restaurant and not look for the man on page 123. As if on cue, the bell above the door jingled. 3 women walked in. They were dressed in bowling shirts, their hair teased high, chewing gum with a synchronized rhythm. Pardon me, the lead bowler asked, holding up a sticky pink flyer. Is this where we can meet the man on page 123? Mel froze. A slow, triumphant grin spread across his face. He looked at Alice. He looked at Vera. He looked at Jolene. See? His eyes said. We found this handbill last night when we came out of the bowling alley, the woman continued. So, where is he? We want to meet Electric Lips. Mel puffed out his chest, smoothed his apron over his belly, and stepped forward. Ladies, ladies, ladies. I am that hunk with the electric lips. You're looking at Mel. The women stopped chewing. They looked Mel, up and down. They looked at his shoes, orthopedic, his pants, stained, his apron, greasy, and finally, his face, stubbled. Lillian, the first woman whispered loudly. It's him. Oh, Grace, the second woman whispered back. He's awesome? I guess middle-aged, bald, and Chubet is in this season. The third woman muttered. Hey Mel, the leader, Lillian, stepped forward, a daredevil gleam in her eye. How about a sample of one of your super kisses? Come on, baby. Light my fire. Te. Mel hesitated. This was the moment of truth. He leaned in, closed his eyes, and planted a kiss on her cheek that was more wet than passionate. Lillian pulled back, wiping her face. She turned to her friends. How was he? Kind of wimpy, Lillian declared. The diner erupted in giggles again. Mel turned beet red. Well, I guess I'm saving the heavy stuff for Felicia. Since she's in town, Felicia Blake is here in Phoenix? Alice asked, suddenly alert. Yes, she's on a book tour, Lillian said. She's staying at the Camelback Inn, room 15. We bowled with the bellhop. Massage his bowling arm, he'll tell you anything. Mel's eyes went wide. Destiny wasn't just knocking. It was banging on the door with a bowling ball. I'm gonna call her, Mel announced, marching toward the payphone in the corner. I'm gonna bring a little excitement to her life. Mel, she's a star, Alice warned, following him. She's not going to take your call. But Mel was already dialing. He held the receiver with a trembling hand. Hello? Yeah, let me have Felicia Blake's room, please. Hello? Felicia? Yeah, well, this is Mel. Mel, from your book. Page 123. The greatest kiss you ever had in your whole life. He paused. He listened. Alice held her breath. You're not doing anything? Mel's voice cracked. Yeah, listen, Felicia, why don't you come on over here? Mel's diner. Everybody knows where it is. Oh, you devil you. She'll be here in an hour. He slammed the phone down, his face pale with terror and exhilaration. She's coming? Vera squeaked. She's coming, Mel whispered. Then he yelled, She's coming! Clean the counters! Hide the chili! Vera, get the gum off the bottom of table 4. I need to go. Vera, I need to go. I need to go fix my hair. What hair? Jolene whispered to Alice. Chapter 2. Ghosts of High School Past. While Mel was hyperventilating in the storeroom, trying to decide which of his 3 identical white t-shirts was the sexy one, Vera sat at the counter, staring at a piece of heavy cream cardstock. Her face, usually open and bright, was clouded with a rare melancholy. What are you reading, honey? Alice asked, sliding a basket of fries onto the counter. Love letter? Summons? It's an invitation, Vera said softly. To my high school reunion in Boston. Vera high school reunion. What fun, Alice beamed. A chance to relive the good old school days. Vera looked up, her eyes wide and sad. Actually, Alice, my good old days weren't all that good. In fact, they were mostly just days. Come on, Jolene said, leaning in. All I ever did was hold the purses for the girls who danced, Vera admitted. I was the designated purse rack. And as for boys, well, I passed notes in geometry class. I sat behind Bonnie, the bombshell Galenko. See? Alice nudged her. You were part of the action. No. Vera shook her head. Boys would lean over, tap me on the shoulder, and whisper, pass this note on to the bombshell. Those boys only wanted one thing from Vera Goman, help with their parallelograms. Alice felt a pang of sympathy. She looked at Vera, sweet, scatterbrained Vera, who had a heart the size of Arizona and about as much luck as a turkey in November. Vera, you should go, Alice said firmly. You've got a week's vacation coming up. You're in the Guinness Book of World Records for non-stop tap dancing. That's reason enough to strut back into that gym. Look at this, though, Vera pointed to the envelope. The alumni committee doesn't even know my name. It says Miss Vera Mormon. Gee, I thought I was a Presbyterian. It's a typo, Jolene said. Listen, you gotta go. Show 'em who you are now. Who am I now? Vera asked. I'm a waitress who confuses over easy with scrambled. You are Vera Louise Gorman, Alice said, grabbing her shoulders. And you are wonderful. Besides, what about that dreamboat you went out with a couple months ago? Steve Marsh? Didn't he go to your school? Vera's face lit up. Steve Marsh, class president, best smile in the yearbook. He'll be there. Of course he will, Alice said. Go for Steve. Go for yourself. Go so you can stop wondering what if. Vera bit her lip, then nodded. Okay, I'll go. But if they ask me to hold their purses, I'm charging a checking fee. The duality of the week was set. Mel was chasing a fantasy from his past to validate his manhood. Vera was chasing a ghost from her past to validate her existence. Mel spent the next hour transforming the diner. Or, rather, shouting at the girls to transform the diner. Get that ketchup bottle off the counter. It looks plebeian. Mel, it's a diner, Jolene said. People expect ketchup. It's like expecting oxygen in the atmosphere. Not for Felicia, Mel shouted. He had changed into a navy blue sweater with a giant block F on the chest. It was wool. It was 98 degrees outside. Sweat was already beading on his forehead like morning dew. Nice sweater, Mel, Henry called out from his corner. Going to a sock hop? I wore this sweater when I kissed Felicia, Mel said defensively, wiping his brow. What's the F stand for? Alice asked, eyeing the moth-eaten fabric. Fragile? Flatbush High, Mel corrected. I'm a graduate, you know. Wow, Jolene deadpanned. He has a mind too. Mel ignored them. He pulled something out of his pocket. It looked like a small, dead rodent. Mel ignored them. What is that? Vera asked, recoiling. This, Mel said reverently, is a toupee. I'm gonna put it on. Felicia remembers me with hair. I'm gonna give her hair. He slapped the hairpiece onto his head. We don't mess with perfection, Mel said to his reflection in the napkin dispenser. Mel, Alice said, trying to suppress a laugh. You look like you're smuggling a gerbil across the border. Before Mel could retort, the door opened. The air in the diner seemed to change. The smell of grease was momentarily overpowered by the scent of expensive French perfume. Felicia Blake stood in the doorway. She looked exactly like her movies, glamorous, poised, and utterly out of place next to the pie display. Hello, everybody, she purred. Her voice was like velvet dragging across gravel, husky and rich. Miss Blake, Vera squealed. I can't believe I'm standing right here next to you. I loved you in The Gypsy and The Senator. Thank you, dear. Felicia smiled, drifting further into the room. I came to see Mel. He's right behind you, Alice said, gesturing to the man in the wool sweater and the crooked toupee. Felicia turned. She looked at Mel. She looked at the F. She looked at the toupee. She squinted. Felicia, Mel opened his arms wide. It's me, Mel, from page 123. Remember Coney Island? The pier? You, me, and the moonlight? Felicia stared. The silence stretched out, painful and elastic. No, she said finally. No? Mel's arms dropped. Wait a minute. Felicia stepped closer, tilting her head. Take another look. Try to think of him as younger, and thinner, and higher. She walked around him, examining him like a used car. Mel looked like he had been punched in the gut. The air went out of him. The swagger vanished, leaving just a sweaty man in a wool sweater. It's not me, he whispered. I'm afraid not, Felicia said kind. I'll never forget that profile. You wouldn't think I'd ever forget being kissed under that nose. Mel slumped. He took off the toupee and stuffed it in his pocket. Yeah. Well, I guess I made a mistake. He turned and walked toward the kitchen. He didn't stomp, he didn't yell, he just shuffled. It was the saddest walk Alice had ever seen. Mel, she called out. I got work to do in the storeroom, he mumbled. Let the customers have a laugh. The kitchen door swung shut. Alice turned to Felicia, her protective instincts flaring up. I'm sure, Felicia said, checking her makeup in a compact. But he seems sweet. Just. Alice looked at the kitchen door. She knew Mel was a loudmouth. She knew he was cheap. But he was also the man who had given her a job when she had nothing. He was the man who let Vera keep her job despite breaking more dishes than a Greek wedding. She couldn't let him end the day like this. Miss Blake, Alice said, stepping closer, her voice low. Chapter 3. The Counterfeit Kiss. 10 minutes later, Alice pushed the kitchen door open. Mel was sitting on a crate of lettuce, staring at a can of tomato paste. Go away, Alice. I'm busy counting the tomatoes. Mel, come out here. Felicia wants to see you. Why? She forget to insult my ears? Just come out. Mel dragged himself up. He walked back into the diner, head hanging low. Felicia was waiting by the counter. Mel, she said softly, I've been thinking. Have you ever had dark, wavy hair? Mel blinked. He pulled the toupee out of his pocket. It's in my pocket. Put it on, she commanded. Mel slapped it on. Don't laugh, he warned the room. It's uncanny, Felicia whispered, acting with all the skill that had won her a Golden Globe nomination in 1958. You mean, you think maybe this is the Mel from your book? I'm a woman that demands proof, Felicia said, stepping into his personal space. Mel, you're gonna have to kiss me. If you insist, Mel said, his voice trembling. He leaned in. He kissed her. And for a moment, the grease and the heat and the disappointment vanished. When they pulled apart, Felicia swooned perhaps a bit theatrically, but Mel didn't notice. It's you, she breathed. My Mel, the diner erupted in applause. Henry even clapped a little. I knew it, Mel roared, his vitality returning in a rush. I told you. The lips that wouldn't quit. Felicia winked at Alice over Mel's shoulder. Alice winked back. Mel, Felicia said, grabbing her purse. You got it, baby, Mel beamed. As they walked out, Mel turned back to the girls. You see? You gotta believe. I used to be sad. I used to be shy. He sang, doing a little jig. Yeah, get out of here, Romeo. Alice laughed. When the door closed, the diner felt quiet again. That was nice of her, Vera said softly. She's a class act, Alice agreed. And Mel. He needed a win, Jolene said, wiping down the counter. Lord knows. We all do. Alice looked at Vera. Speaking of wins. You're next, Vera. Boston. Steve Marsh. Go get him. Vera straightened her uniform. A look of determination replaced her usual confusion. You're right. I'm going to Boston, and I'm going to catch up with Steve Marsh if it's the last thing I do. Chapter 4. The Boston Tea Party and Other Disasters. Vera's return from Boston a week later was nothing short of triumphant. She didn't just walk into the diner. She floated. I'm engaged, she squealed, flashing a ring that caught the fluorescent light and fractured it into a dozen tiny rainbows. Alice dropped a tray. Mel, who was currently yelling at a supplier on the phone, choked on his cigar. Engaged? Alice rushed over, hugging her friend. To Steve Marsh? The very same. Vera beamed. Oh, Alice. It was like a fairy tale. We ran into each other at the reunion. That was fast, Jolene whistled. I wish I could work that fast around here. Steve owns his own computer company, Vera gushed. He's successful, he's intelligent. And he proposed right in front of the sponge exhibit at the Boston Aquarium. Romantic, Mel grunted, hanging up the phone. Nothing says forever, like a sea sponge. So when is the wedding? Henry asked. Soon, Vera spun around. He's flying in tomorrow night on business. You all have to meet him. The next night, the diner was buzzing. Vera had prepped everyone. Steve was perfect. Steve was a genius. Steve was the other half of her soul. When Steve Marsh walked in, he certainly looked the part. Tall, handsome, in a tech nerd sort of way, wearing a suit that cost more than Mel's car. Vera, he called out, and she practically leaped over the counter into his arms. Alice watched them, smiling. It was good to see Vera happy, but as the evening wore on, Alice noticed something. Steve sat at the counter, showing Mel a calculator. This computer has a 16-bit microprocessor that can handle information in groups of up to 16 binary digits at a time. Is that so? Mel asked, his eyes glazing over. Does it make chili? See, now you're talking kilobytes. Steve laughed, tapping the machine. Vera, honey, once we're married, I'm getting you a beeper. So, I can beep you anytime. I'll just keep my lips on hold, Vera giggled, though she looked slightly confused. Later, they were trying to decide on dinner. I'm taking you to a nice Chinese restaurant, Steve announced. Vera's smile faltered. Oh, I don't really like Chinese. How about Italian? I don't care much for Italian. Mexican? Spicy food gives me the hiccups. French? I don't like food I can't pronounce. How about American? Steve asked, exasperated. Steak? I'm not a big beef eater, Vera said, small. I like chicken cacciatore? That's Italian, Steve pointed out. Oh, right, Vera said. I don't like Italian. Alice watched the exchange from the service station. It wasn't just the food. It was everything. Steve talked about silicone chips. Vera talked about her hamsters, Harold and Mitzi. Steve hated animals. Vera wanted to live in a zoo. Steve liked 2001, A Space Odyssey because of the computer. Vera liked it because she thought the monkey was cute. By the time the pie was served, the silence between the happy couple was louder than Mel's snoring. Gee, Vera said, pushing a piece of sponge cake around her plate. I don't know how to say this, Steve, but I think we're going too fast. Steve let out a long breath, shoulders sagging. You feel it too? Vera asked, hopeful. Honey, Steve took her hand. How would you feel if we postponed the engagement? Relieved, Vera admitted. Me too. Really? They both smiled, genuinely this time. The pressure of the reunion, the romance of the past, it had all been a beautiful balloon that had just popped. Mel, Vera shouted. We have an announcement. We broke the engagement. Isn't it wonderful? Steve added, shaking Mel's hand. Mel looked at them, confused. I'm confused. Is this a happy occasion or not? I'm happy, Vera chirped. Then let's celebrate your disengagement. Mel shrugged. On the house. But no shrimp. I'm not made of money. As Vera hugged Alice later that night, she sighed. I guess I got caught up in the memory of who he was, not who he is. That happens a lot around here, Alice said, looking at Mel, who was back to arguing with the toaster. Chapter 5. The Jumper on the Roof. If Vera's romance was a soft pop, the next arrival at Mel's diner was a car crash. It started with a large man in a white suit carrying a suitcase that looked like it contained a body. He stumbled into the dinner, sweat pouring down his face, looking like a Vegas lounge singer who had been dragged through a cactus patch. Mel, he bellowed. It's me, Monty. Mel looked up from the grill. Monty? Monty from the Siesta Mirage Hotel in Vegas? In the flesh. Monty spread his arms. Or what's left of it. Girls, this is Monty, Mel introduced him. We met in Vegas. He was a booze boy. I was an electrical engineer of waste management. Monty corrected, collapsing onto a stool. But now, I am a broken man. What happened? Jolene asked, eyeing the suit. Raven. Monty choked out. My fiancée. Exotic dancer. Capital X. We were supposed to get married yesterday. I was standing at the altar in my white wedding suit, and she never showed. Oh, that's terrible, Alice said. Left at the altar? I waited 8 hours, Monty sobbed. Then I took the first bus to Phoenix. I needed to see a friendly face. Well, you came to the right place, Mel said, slapping him on the back. You can stay. Well, you can't stay with me. My place is a shoebox. I can sleep in the storeroom, Monty offered. I'm handy. I can fix things. I see your sign out front reads, Mel's, Nair. I can fix that. I'll rewire the sign for room and board. You got a deal, Mel said instantly. Cheap labor was his love language. But Monty wasn't just broken. He was leaking emotional fluid all over the diner. And unfortunately, he decided Alice was the vessel to catch it. It started with small compliments. Alice, you have expressive eyes. Then it escalated to dinner in the storeroom, which he had transformed into a candlelight bistro using a hot plate and a stolen tablecloth. Alice, Monty said, strumming a mandolin he had pulled from his suitcase. You and the night and the music fill me with flaming desire. Alice sat on a sack of potatoes, horrified. Monty, this is very sweet, but I've forgotten all about Raven, Monty declared, his eyes wild. You, Alice, are my present, and hopefully my future. Monty, I have ironing to do, Alice said, fleeing the room. The next day, it came to a head. Alice tried to let him down gently. Monty, I like you as a friend, only as a friend. Monty took it well. He nodded. He smiled. He said he understood. Then he climbed onto the roof of the diner and threatened to jump. I'm checking out, Mel. Monty screamed from the top of the giant coffee cup sign. Heading for the last roundup, a crowd gathered in the parking lot. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Monty, Alice yelled up, shielding her eyes against the sun. Don't do it. Think of your family. Biddy's got a dog. Monty yelled back nonsensically. Think of my business, Mel shouted. The insurance won't cover a busboy on the roof. Mel. Alice smacked his arm. She looked up at Monty, seeing the desperation of a man who just wanted to be loved, who wanted to matter to someone. Monty, she called out, if you come down, we can talk. Really talk. Will you marry me? Monty bargained, dangling a leg over the edge of the cup. No, Alice shouted, but I will buy you a burger. With cheese? With cheese. Monty considered this. The heat was getting to him. The height was dizzying, and the smell of Mel's burgers, usually a deterrent, was strangely comforting. He climbed down. As his feet hit the asphalt, Mel grabbed him. You idiot! You fixed the sign, right? Yeah, Monty said, dusting off his suit. It works. Mel flipped the switch inside. The sign buzzed, sparked, and illuminated. Mel's. Dina. Beautiful, Mel whispered. Monty, you're crazy, but you're a genius. Monty looked at Alice. I guess I better go back to Vegas, huh? I think that's best, Alice said gently. In time, you'll forget all about me. I'll try. Alice smiled. As Monty walked away, carrying his suitcase toward the bus station, Alice felt a strange sense of relief. They came, they broke down, they got fixed, sort of, and they left. Well, Mel said, rubbing his hands together. Mel, Jolene said, pointing at the window. The sign. Mel looked up. The D in Dina flickered and died. Then the I. Then the N. It now read Mel's. ER. Monty! Mel shook his fist at the retreating figure. Synopsis of remaining chapters. Chapter 6. The Gamble. The calm doesn't last. Mel gets dragged into a rivalry with Freddy's feedback down the street. Freddy is giving away cash prizes. Jen, why speaky? 10, why speaky? 10 sis, peaky, 10, wise, 10. Mel, refusing to be outdone, starts a spell Mel's contest. The letters are distributed with checks. But Mel, cheap and cunning, hides the letter, so no one can win the $3,000 grand prize. The guilt eats at him, or rather, the fear of jail does. Henry eventually wins, by accident, but in a twist of heart, refuses the money because he knows Mel can't afford it. Chapter 7. Mother Knows Best. Mel's mother, Carrie, arrives like a hurricane. She buys Mel's apartment building to invest, and immediately raises his rent. Mel, stubborn as a mule, refuses to pay and moves into the diner's storeroom for real this time. The living arrangement is a disaster of odd couple proportions. Alice and the girls have to broker a peace treaty between mother and son before Mel drives them all insane with his homeless antics. Chapter 8. Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Phoenix Edition. A news report about hidden money in old buildings triggers a gold rush in the diner. They learn the previous owner, Slim, was an eccentric who hid cash. They tear the diner apart literally. Mel rips up floors. Vera crawls into the ceiling. They find a cryptic poem. Vera solves it. It's based on teeth and luck, leading them to a stash, which turns out to be earmarked for an orphanage. They face the moral dilemma: keep the cash and fix their lives, or honor the dead man's wish. They choose the orphanage, staying poor but moral. Chapter 9. Alice at the Palace. Mel wins big at the track. A rare occurrence. Instead of saving it, he gets talked into investing in a local theater production starring Alice. It's her big break, but the producer is arrested for fraud, and the show is doomed. Mel steps in as the producer, letting the power go to his head. He tries to rewrite the show, ruining Alice's numbers. Chapter 10. The show must go on. The climax of the novel. The show is falling apart. The leading man quits. In a Deus Ex Machina moment, Joel Grey, playing himself, is in town and gets roped in. Mel tries to fire Joel Grey for his bookie buddy who sings Swanee off key. Alice finally stands up to Mel, not as an employee, but as an artist. The show goes on. It's a disaster, but a beautiful one. Alice sings her heart out. Epilogue. Still, there. The dust settles. The show is closed. The money is gone. The sign still says Mel's. ER. But as they close up shop one night, Alice looks around at Mel, Vera, Jolene, and Henry. They are tired, broke, and stuck in Phoenix. But as the sun sets over the desert, painting the sky in purples and oranges, Alice hums her song again. She isn't sad. She isn't shy. She's home. Desert hearts and greasy spoons. A novel of Mel's Diner. Chapter 1. The autobiography of an ex-lover. The Arizona heat didn't just sit on Phoenix. It pressed down like a heavy wool blanket that smelled of asphalt and exhaust. Inside Mel's diner, the air conditioner rattled in a losing battle against the midday sun, vibrating in harmony with the hum of the refrigerator and the sizzle of ground beef hitting the flat-top grill. Alice Hyatt wiped a bead of sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand, her other hand balancing a tray of what Mel Sharples optimistically called food. She looked out the window at the shimmering pavement of Bush Highway. I used to be sad. I used to be shy. She hummed softly to herself, the lyrics of a song she'd been working on drifting through her mind. It was a mantra, really. A reminder that she wasn't just a waitress in a pink uniform. She was a singer, a mother, a woman who had driven all the way from New Jersey to find something better. Funniest thing, the saddest part is, I never knew why. Order up! Mel's voice boomed from the kitchen pass-through, shattering her reverie. He slapped a plate onto the metal shelf with enough force to make the garnish jump. Here you go. Henry Biesmeyer, a fixture of the diner who seemed as permanent as the linoleum floor, looked up from his stool. He eyed the plate suspiciously. Thanks, he muttered. Alice slid the plate in front of him. Wow, Henry said, deadpan. Hey, what's so funny about Mel's menu? The meatloaf always gets a laugh. You'll knock it off, Henry, Mel growled, his face appearing in the window like a grumpy gargoyle in a white hat. He disappeared back into the kitchen, but the silence didn't last. A moment later, Alice caught him leaning against the prep table, his nose buried in a hardcover book. You're reading during working hours? Mel looked up, his eyes wide, ignoring the sarcasm. Vera Gorman, whose innocent enthusiasm was the only thing brighter than her yellow uniform, perked up from the register. Is that autobiography by Felicia Blake? She chirped. Yeah. She's one of my favorite movie actresses. I read about that book. Vera lowered her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. It was supposed to be chock full of fiery passions and torrid affairs, steamy romance, hot-blooded lovers. Mel's chest swelled. He looked like a man holding the Holy Grail. So when can I borrow that book? Vera asked. Well, I'm only up to page 123, Mel said, his voice dropping to a reverent hush. Felicia's just describing how she got the most exciting kiss of her life from a man named Mel. The diner went silent for a beat. Alice exchanged a look with Jolene Honeycutt, the diner's newest waitress, whose southern drawl was as sharp as her wit. Mel? Jolene asked. Yeah. Mel nodded vigorously. She said she got the kiss in Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn, that's where I'm from. Mel, Alice said gently. Brooklyn has millions of people. Mel ignored her, reading aloud from the text with theatrical gravity. It was a magical night on the beach at Coney Island. Hey, Coney Island! That's where I did some of my best smooching. He cleared his throat. Little did I, Franny Bukovsky, as I was called then, suspect that that night I would receive the most pulsating kiss of my life from a pair of lips that wouldn't quit. He looked up, triumph blazing in his eyes. Bukovsky, Franny Bukovsky. I knew a Franny Bukovsky. Wait a minute. Brooklyn, Coney Island, Franny Bukovsky, great kisser. That could be me, he shouted, slapping the counter. Jolene let out a laugh that sounded like a hiccup. Do you seriously believe that you are the Mel that kissed Felicia Blake? Why not? Mel demanded, offended. I kissed lots of dames in Brooklyn. Hundreds, thousands. Arrest that man who's a mad kisser of Coney Island. You'll keep reading. Dingy. Mel barked at Vera, handing her the book. Vera adjusted her glasses and read. As long as I live, I'll never forget his cool, piercing eyes. His wavy hair. Mel snatched his hat off, revealing a scalp that had long since said goodbye to its waves. His sexy smile, Vera continued. His firm, muscular body. Mel sucked in his gut, a Herculean effort that shifted his center of gravity. It is me. Just think, those could be the lips that wouldn't quit, he said, puckering up towards the ceiling. Attached to the body that did, Alice quipped dryly. You'll stow it, Blondie, Mel shot back. I hate to burst your bubble, Alice said, trying to inject some reality into Mel's fantasy. But there are other Mels from Brooklyn, you know. Yes, but I'm the only Mel with the magic lips, Mel insisted. The lips that have thrilled women for years and years. If only those lips could talk. Chapter 2. The campaign. By the next afternoon, Mel Sharples had ceased to be a fry cook and had become a legend in his own mind. He stood by the entrance of the diner, admiring a handbill he had taped to the glass. Hey, everybody, look what I got, Mel announced, beaming. Meet Mel from page 123, the man Felicia couldn't forget. This will bring the people in. Alice stared at the flyer. It was crude, bold, and entirely Mel. Why don't you just stick handbills on car windshields? She asked sarcastically. Who told you about the handbills? Mel asked, panicked, assuming she had discovered his guerrilla marketing campaign in the parking lot. I don't believe this, Jolene muttered. Why do you believe it? Just believe it, Mel argued, his logic circular and impenetrable. No one's going to walk in this restaurant and look for the man on page 123, Alice said, shaking her head. As if on cue, a cosmic joke, at Alice's expense, the door chimed. 3 women in bowling shirts wandered in, looking around with wide eyes. One of them held up a crumpled piece of paper. Pardon me, the woman asked. Is this where we can meet the man on page 123? Mel turned to Alice, a smug grin stretching across his face. We found this handbill last night when we came out of the bowling alley, the woman explained. Her friends giggled. Boy, by 10:30, I was really moving in the fast lane, one said, while another added, yeah. She forgot to let go of the ball. So you want to meet Electric Lips, huh? The leader asked. Mel stepped forward, smoothing his grease-stained apron as if it were a tuxedo. Ladies, ladies, ladies. I'm that hunk with the electric lips. You're Mel. The women stopped giggling. They stared. They squinted. Lillian. It's him, one whispered, sounding disappointed. Oh, Grace, he's awesome, the other said, though her tone suggested she was looking at a car wreck. I guess middle-aged, bald, and chubettes are in, Jolene whispered to Alice. At last, Lillian said, stepping up to Mel. Hey, Mel, how about a sample of one of your super kisses? Come on, baby. Light my fire. Mel froze. The bluff had been called. He looked at Alice for help, but found none. He leaned in and planted a quick, wet peck on Lillian's cheek. Lillian pulled back. She looked at her friends. How was he? Grace asked. Kind of wimpy, Lillian declared. Mel turned red. Well, I guess he's saving the heavy stuff for Felicia, since she's in town. He stammered, trying to salvage his dignity. Felicia Blake is here in Phoenix? Alice asked, surprised. Yes. She's on an autograph tour for her book. Mel's eyes widened. Destiny wasn't just knocking, it was banging down the door. Mel and Felicia don't keep in touch as much as they used to. Alice covered for him sarcastically. Oh, Mel, why don't you give her a call? Vera suggested, oblivious to the potential disaster. Oh, what a good idea, Mel said, seizing the phone. Camelback Inn, second floor, room 15. Lillian recited instantly. We bowled with Max, the head bellhop there. Massage his bowling arm, and he'll tell you anything. Mel dialed a number, his fingers trembling. Mel, from your book, page 123. The greatest kiss you've ever had in your whole life. The diner went silent. Alice held her breath. I'm here in Phoenix, Mel continued. Listen, Felicia, why don't you come on over here? Mel's diner. Everybody knows where it is. He paused, listening. A grin broke out on his face. Oh, you devil, you. All right, she'll be here in an hour. Chapter 3. The Face of Rejection. The hour that followed was a blur of frantic cleaning and personal grooming that bordered on the grotesque. Mel emerged from the storeroom, wearing a Letterman sweater that smelled of mothballs and desperation. On his head sat a toupee that looked like a small, tired animal curling up for a nap. What do you think? Mel asked, spinning around. Nice sweater, Mel. Going to a sock hop? Henry quipped. I wore this sweater when I kissed Felicia. Mel defended himself. It's my football sweater. What does the F stand for? Alice asked, eyeing the giant letter. Flatbush High, Mel said proudly. I'm a graduate, you know. He pointed to his head. And this is a toupee. Hey, what do you think? We don't mess with perfection. It makes a better dead squirrel. Jolene muttered under her breath. The door opened. The atmosphere in the diner shifted instantly. Felicia Blake entered, radiating the kind of Hollywood glamour that made the grease on the grill look like stardust. Hello, everybody, she purred. Welcome to Mel's diner, Alice stammered. I'm Alice. This is Vera. This is Jolene. So where's Mel? Felicia asked, looking around. He's right behind you, Alice said. Felicia turned. She looked at Mel. She looked at the sweater. She looked at the toupee. Who is this guy? She asked, her nose wrinkling slightly. It's me, Mel. From your book, page 123. Mel said, his arms open wide. Remember Coney Island? Remember the pier? Yeah, you and me in the moonlight. No, Felicia said simply. Mel's smile faltered. No? Wait a minute. Take another look, Felicia said to herself, circling him. Because you know, he certainly has changed a lot since then. Try to think of him as younger and thinner and hairier. She stared at him for a long, agonizing moment. That's why I'm sorry, girls, but this is not the Mel that kissed me, she declared. The air went out